You were born into a 14th century bloodline everyone calls cursed. Not cursed enough to die young, not blessed enough to escape what waits for you. Your childhood begins under a shadow that feels older than the world itself. Your mother spends her days bent over prayer books, whispering for a soul she sure needs saving. Her hands tremble over rosary beads she never lets you touch. Your father is absent more than present, a man whose work sends grown men running, whose silhouette vanishes into the town's worst hours. You only know him by the smell that follows him home. You survive plague and hunger. At 2 years old, the village lets out a breath. A child who lives should be lucky, but surviving is its own kind of sentence. By 4, you hear the whispers. People cross themselves when you pass. Children are taught to hurry past your door. Women drop fruit into their baskets a little faster. You learn early what it is to be avoided. Your mother tells stories of wild animals to keep you close. But you learn the real wildness lives on 2 legs and carries rocks to your window. Fear becomes the geography of your life. Curiosity finally drags you to the town square. Crowd is a living think, flangs spitting, smelling of blood and fear. On a wooden platform, a man in a dark hood works a strange metal device. The hooded man parts the crowd and you see him, your father with the hood pushed back. It's a face you thought you knew, revealing a profession your child's mind cannot reconcile. That night, you force the truth from him. He takes off his gloves. His hands are raw and stained. Speaks, and you learn the word for what your family does, torturer. He explains that when bread is stolen or a priest is offended, it is his task to break confessions out of people. There is no volunteer for this craft. Only bloodlines inherit it. Your grandfather, his father before him, the trade is a chain. Your dreams evaporate. Farming, travel, a robe and altarall impossible. The city marks you. Brand, birth, and gossip lock the doors that might have led elsewhere. At 8, the training begins. It's not philosophy or math, but the anatomy of instruments, players, screws, ropes. Each tool is taught to you like a language. Each lesson writes screams into your memory. Your father makes you practice on animal bones, first cracking femurs, studying sinew. He demands you learn how flesh and bone react before you ever touch a human. The stench of rot glues itself to your clothes. Months later, you watch for the first time. A man accused of stealing grain is brought in, begging that he is innocent. The thumbscrews begin. You learn that the law wants confession more than it wants truth. By 12, you hold the pliers. Your father's hand on your shoulder is both a threat and a lesson. Do this or be done unto. You let the prisoner's teeth come free because you know the price of mercy. At 15, anatomy becomes your curriculum. You learn where to cut for pain, not death, how to stretch a body on the rack until it bargains for breath. Fear, you discover, can be sharper than iron. They show you the Iron Maiden, a coffin of inward spikes that torments without a quick killing. You run your fingers along a diagram and learn cruelty measured like a surgeon. At 17, you master the rack. At 18, you are the one pulling the ropes. A woman accused of witchcraft denies everything until you are accused of unauthorized mercy. To prove your methods are sanctified by God, you must endure the trial of boiling oil. The woman confesses after hours of torment. The crowd cheers when her fate is sealed. You stand in public triumph and private sickness, comfort and revulsion stitched together. Yours glue themselves together. Your reputation grows. The bone breaker, the man who coaxes truth with engineered pain. You take notes, refine methods, and become efficient at cruelty. This efficiency costs you friends and sleep. You find someone who understands a woman from the town's margins, a brothel worker. There's no love that washes this life clean, only company that tolerates the stain. You marry, and for a moment, hope returns. Decades of breaking others' bodies leave their mark. At 40, your hands tremble. A prisoner dies in your care before confessing. Rumors spread. The bone breaker slips. Mistakes breed fear. On your elder son's 13th birthday, you tell him the truth. You were told that the trade chooses its heirs. He runs, but returns hungry. You begin his training, watching your own childhood die again in his eyes. The cycle continues. Your son becomes competent, then feared. You retire with hands that betray you, but retirement does not unbind the family chain. It only passes the torch. You die at 52 old, for your line and are buried in the torturer's corner of the graveyard. No priest, no procession. The town exhales, as if relieved and ashamed at once. The nightmares you knew give way to silence, but the legacy does not end. Your sons carry on. Where you were a cautionary tale, a new generation learns the same cruel lesson. Somewhere in town, a child watches people cross themselves as your family walks past and wonders who the real curse ever was.